This is the injury report presented by NYU Langone Health. Is Sean Manaea going to be effective when he comes back from his oblique strain? That's the question. Let's get you guys some answers. So in today's injury report, we're talking with Dr. Michael Schwartz, Sports Orthopedic Surgeon over at NYU Langone Health, to get you guys some sort of a timeline on the Manaea oblique strain. Doc, how's it going today, my man?
Going great. Thanks for having me.
All right, you got a lot of Amazins holding their breath right now, so let's kick this thing off. Manager Carlos Mendoza said earlier this week that the MRI revealed that the injury was to the muscle only. He's not able to throw just yet, but what does muscle only mean for his recovery, and would he can start throwing again?
Well, I think Manager Mendoza was a little concerned about his rib cage being injured and possibly a stress fracture in the rib. And fortunately, that's not the case in this situation. So he must be very happy about that. The oblique is a muscle found on the side of the abdomen. It's broad and thin, and it forms one of the layers of the abdominal wall, and it inserts on the lower rib cage. Oblique strains are one of the top 5 most common injuries in professional baseball. And the incidence of abdominal muscle strains in baseball has actually been increasing over the past 20 years. In pitchers, the injuries tend to occur on the opposite side of the throwing arm. Now, oblique injuries in throwers typically occur at the muscle region rather than the tendon, since this is where the primary stress is placed on the muscle fibers during throwing motions, which involve twisting and rotation of the trunk, leading to strains within the belly of the oblique muscle themselves, particularly the internal oblique muscle.
All right, so one of the top 5 injuries in baseball, so that means that the Mets training staff knows how to handle this. So what would you say would be the best and worst case scenarios when it comes to his timeline for him to return to the rotation?
Based on a study of Major League Baseball players, the average recovery time for oblique injuries was approximately 35 days. Now, this was based on a MLB study performed by Stan Conti, one of the former Dodger athletic trainers. There's different types of strains. It could be a mild, moderate, or a severe injury. Now, a mild grade injury is a strain of the muscle fibers, and usually it takes about 3 weeks to get the athlete back playing again. A moderate grade injury is more of a partial tear, and in that case, it could take easily 5 to 8 weeks to recover and get back on the field. The more severe tears could require multiple months and keep the athlete out for a good portion of the season.
All right, Doc. So this Mets rotation, they came into spring training thin. They just got even thinner, especially with the Frankie Montas news. So let's say when Manaea starts getting stronger, my man starts getting his juice back, they're probably going to have to protect the player from the player. So how easy could he re-injure the oblique? And will he have to be, I guess, monitored by team docs as the season goes on?
Yes, so it's definitely a phased approach to recovery, starting out with initial rest and ice application, followed by gentle stretching, gradual strengthening exercises, and then progressing in intensity slowly until they get him on a throwing program and get him ready for competition. Now, there's a very high rate of recurrence of these injuries. I've read among studies up to 20% within 3 years of the initial injury. And a lot of them do come early on. So it's imperative that they don't rush his rehab and allow sufficient time for him to heal to resume throwing.
All right, that means that $756 million contract for Juan Soto and the Mets offense is going to have to kind of carry the slack until the rotation gets stronger and healthy. So $1 million question here, Doc. What would the injury report and the recovery be like for a non-professional athlete with the same injury?
So weekend warriors who suffer these types of injuries need to really rest appropriately. They don't have athletic trainers working on them 24/7, so it's important that they do get professional help, receiving physical therapy to help them guide them back to normal activities. Overall, rest is really key. They need to really rest appropriately, begin with light stretching, and then increase their activity level gradually.
All right, Doc. Thanks for joining us on the injury report. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.